In The Verge, Andrew Hawkins published this on July 5th. Anybody here want to guess? And if you've read the story, I mean, you know, but what's the average amount of time a car sits, not doing anything?
Like 90%, 70%?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty high.
Casey's, it's about 90%. Yeah. Any car just sits 90% of the time, 10% of the time. It's maybe going zoom, zoom, zoom. Which, when you think about it, that's kind of cray-cray, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about budgeting, right? Like, I'm going to buy something that I'm only going to use 10% of the time I have it. Now, I don't use my computer 100% of the time. Well, maybe 100% of the time I'm awake, but that's another problem that we'll get into later. Anyway, that's not the point of this article. The point of this article was looking at a company called Orix, Orix in Japan. They are a car share company. And they did some survey, and we're looking at some of their numbers, and they noticed that there was a decent number of vehicles that were rented, but didn't travel. It traveled zero distance. And they were like, well, what? Well, why would, like, you rented it and you didn't go anywhere? Well, as it turns out, a lot of the people that are doing this were renting it for, let me go through the reasons. The survey, the number one reason, naps.
That's awesome.
They rent the car, so they had a place to take a nap. Taking back and forth to work. They use the car for storage.
Oh.
They rented the car to charge their phone. They rented the car to eat lunch. Or they rented the car.
This is not North America. Not even close.
Right. And so it is definitely a very Japanese thing. I think culturally and geographically, spatially, the way that things are compressed there, a lot of this makes sense. The other side of it is, keep in mind, these Orix charges about $4 for half an hour. So we're not talking about like going to Enterprise. Thanks for the free plug, assholes. And spending $39 to rent a really crappy Nissan Versa for a day. We're talking about $4, and you get to take a nap for half an hour.
Yeah, nice.
I assume it goes up if you actually drive it.
I did. You know what? It doesn't say that in the story.
I know it's still $200 a day.
Well, I mean, if you're keeping it the whole day, but I think clearly part of what, again, they didn't really say, but a lot of these are very, this is a car share thing.
You see them parked, you get the special key or app, and then you can get into it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you go
they don't
in,
want you to keep it all day. Yeah.
You get you have your nap, you do your YouTube show, you watch TV, you charge your phone, and you're out of there 45 minutes later. And
you just have some private time is really what it comes down to.
In a car.
Yeah.
That is wild.
I love that, but I think the thing that I love most, again, does that going to happen here in the U.S.? Well, given the rents in California, it might happen, but I don't think again we're set up for that. But it is an interesting observation on the role that cars play in our life.
Huh.
So Eric in the chat room had mentioned that it is cheaper than a motel when you're working with professionals. And you would need more than a Versa. So I love this article. Yes, I absolutely love it. I was laughing the whole time I was reading this because I think it's hilarious. Clearly, we never thought of this. Now, granted, we don't have $8 an hour car rentals, $4 for half an hour. And especially, I have a lot of coworkers who have been forced into an open office environment. These where they just have a lot of people crammed into a space, and they're just surrounded by everyone. They can't take a phone call in private. They can't do anything in any sense of privacy. And I could easily see some of my friends renting a car for half an hour just to get away from the noise and everyone else, taking a nap, taking a breather, and then going back for the afternoon.
when I was at Tesla, we had these Zoom video conferences like twice a week. It was so annoying, but I had my car set up. Like so that rather than doing it in our workplace, I go out to the car, turn on the air conditioning and do that there.
Nice.
Because it was quiet and, and people walk by and go, what the hell is he doing?
He's just set up in the middle of the aisle, having a conference. What's up with this guy?
Yeah.
Now, I guess if you rent a Model 3, you can go play video games while you wait.
See?
Yeah.
Dune buggy.
I think the article is certainly more culturally linked to Japan, and that I think the lack of personal space in Japan as it sits is the overall thing that people are trying to get away from. Like I think it's they live with larger families at home. In their workplace, they're packed into sardines. When they get on the subway, they're packed in like sardines. This is just I can rent my own space and be away from everybody and be alone, and that's what they're after for $4 every half hour. That having to charge your phone, I don't think they're spending the money just to charge their phone. I think they're spending the money to be away from everyone.
Actually, where the phone charging thing started was after the Fukushima disaster.
Oh, yes.
They found people were renting cars, doing the car share thing again, so that they had electricity they could charge their phones.
Okay.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, again, maybe you're right. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.